Okay.
Do we have an episode number?
Yes, it is SlapperCast episode number 74.
Nice. Welcome. Hey, thanks for tuning in, kids.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to have a real short show today because we all have places to go and play. No, actually, we don't. He was all excited. He's like,
where are we going?
Yeah.
Get in the van. Okay. Where are we going?
Yeah, so we're observing the 4th of July today, right?
It's the 3rd.
Well, yeah.
Most of the city is, I noticed. It's pretty... I noticed the traffic was dead, and it took me a minute to realize that it's a holiday for a lot of people. Of course,
They're all at the closed beaches.
Yeah.
Right.
Let us in.
I think this is going to be weird 4th because there's not going to be right? Are they doing fireworks at all in the city?
Not that I've heard of.
Yeah. Good drag.
Something's happening because I was running yesterday and they have all the fences. All the fences are ready, so they're shutting it down for something.
Oh, shit.
They're closing it off. The bayou, everything.
I've only heard about South Dakota and Washington, D.C. for this weekend. Yeah. This weekend. So
Really?
Yep.
Mount Rushmore and then D.C. They're gonna.
I don't know. Do you feel the freedom? I feel the freedom.
Always. even with our new mask order in Texas.
Man, I'm loving wearing a mask.
Yeah.
So I went shopping yesterday at Victoria's Secrets.
As you do.
Oh, yeah. I shouldn't have said that last part. We'll edit out that last bit. But I had my Elvis sunglasses on and my mask. And you can do whatever you want.
Kinda.
They let you do it all.
Yep.
And then when this is also another fun. You've all probably way ahead of me on this. But it's really fun when you have the mask and you have the glasses, the very, very dark glasses, and you can speak with a lisp. You can raise your voice and hi, and they've got no idea, and they have to respond. I mean, a good salesperson will respond accordingly, and they're trying not to laugh because they know for a fact that you're spreading all that COVID inside your mask, and it has to stay with, and they have to keep it together.
Well, yeah,
so it's a really fun time.
They're probably on commission, so yeah.
Yeah. Masks are fun.
They're fun.
Yes. And I write secret messages on them too, if you help. I'm not this person's holding my kids are going, yeah. But it's great. It really when you take half your face away, it is a wonderful, wonderful, freeing, speaking of the 4th of July. Yeah. It's a freeing moment.
That freedom rang.
Like, it used to be really stressful for me if I was like getting ready to go somewhere, like the grocery store or something, and I cut myself shaving or something. I'm like, oh, damn it, I have to put a Band-Aid across my chin or something. And then now I realize, oh, who cares? Nobody's going to be able to see it.
Exactly.
But yeah.
Just my little breakout here. I've been wearing the mask all the time.
Breakout?
No one can see it. No one can see that. I look like I'm ready for prom night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Break out. Everybody freak out. Oh, it's Freak Out, right? Yeah. Scorpions song.
Blackout.
They're
so close.
It's something out.
It was one of the outs.
Something is happening out.
Out of the closet.
Yeah, out of the closet. Blacking out in the closet.
I miss R. Kelly.
Man, those were the days, huh?
Yeah.
Remember when all I had to worry about was R. Kelly pissing on somebody? Remember that?
That allegedly. It never. I have no proof.
I've seen Dave Chappelle's show, and he
Dave Chappelle did, yes. Yeah. But no, you cannot prove to me.
Well,
I mean, the mask thing is fantastic. R. Kelly is innocent. Moving on.
Remember when all we had to care about was his innocence?
Yes.
And how stressful that wasn't.
So what are we talking about?
R. Kelly, apparently.
Well, we're talking about freedom.
Ring.
And we're talking about fireworks, and we're talking about just the joy of being in Houston when it's just so pleasant out. We've got a lot of sunshine, we got a lot of dust, we got a lot of heat, we got a lot of humidity. What else can you ask for? Give me some hot coffee.
Summertime, baby, it's here.
Yeah,
finally showed
up. It's not joking.
Oof. Heat index was 105.
Yeah,
yesterday, today. Yeah. It's kind of
warm. So I ran yesterday for a change, and got back, and I really felt like I'd been hit in the back of the head with a bat. I've never been hit in the back of the head with a bat. Don't get any ideas.
You can imagine.
Mom. But it it just came in and just being dizzy. Just that was intense.
What time did you go jogging?
At the worst time of the day,
Which is
3:00.
Yeah, that's what are you doing?
Yeah, I know.
Jesus.
I like to challenge myself. Speaking of challenging, we're in the studio, and not at the moment, because the background's going to give it away. We're not in the studio at the moment. However, we've been having great fun over at BB Gun Studios here in sunny Houston, Texas, and so we're doing this song, and it's not going to be on the record. We have a series of singles that we're gonna. When are you gonna release it? We don't know whenever we get out of this shit. But we're recording, and we're getting to the end of this one song in particular that will be a single pretty soon. And we get to the end of it, and I can't get the last note, and it's not a high note, and it's not a low note. It's just middle of the road, and I just can't get it. It's one of those things, and I don't want to. And I could probably change it up to something else, but but it was just one of those things. I couldn't get it. That's all right. I said, we'll get it next time because we've plenty more sessions planned. So I get home and I'm kind of humming it to myself. Okay, that's it. Yeah. Why can't I do that in the studio? I mean, 10 times in a row or something we tried it. And it's not a difficult note, but it was at that moment. I was just putting so much pressure on myself. Anyway. Fast forward to a couple of days later, and I like to have these YouTube videos playing in the background, and I went to find the Iron Maiden Summer and Time tour, and they had it. I don't know why they recorded it, because Bruce Dickinson, the singer, didn't hit one note for the whole show.
Oh no!
I mean, he was right. If that was his target, he was here the whole show. And I don't know how you'd release that. I don't know how the band would sign off on that. And the video quality is terrible. And now I think I might be telling. I think it's a Iron Maiden sanctioned.
Yeah, that's we can use that word.
Official release.
Yeah, official Iron Maiden release. But. Anyway, so I felt a whole lot better about, not that one. But
at least I don't do a whole show of that.
Yeah, but now that reminds me too of Black Sabbath when I went to see the final, the farewell thing, and Ozzy did not sing in the same key as the band for the whole show.
Well, how could he?
Well, then don't go. That's just don't do it. I understand the Bruce Dickinson thing too. They record these songs, and I've heard, and he actually sings better now.
They're not changing the keys, are they?
No, they're not changing the keys.
No.
But he sings better now than he did back then.
Because he's in better shape, probably, right?
They've always been in great shape. They're all athletes.
Yeah.
Except Nico.
He's not. He's fine. He lives in Florida. What can go wrong?
That's the problem.
He opens
but they
restaurants.
all play tennis or soccer or run or
Bruce do fencing and shit. Yeah.
But they're all always active. I mean, on tour they play soccer. They actually, Bruce runs the arenas before that's a band that's in tip-top shape. However, vocally, I think that he got it together because Peace of Mind, which was their massive, excuse me, not Peace of Mind, the Live After Death record was their double live CD or disc, whatever. And he doesn't sing. He sings like kind of below, the pitch on a lot of that too. But it's just it's recorded at such a high register, and the show is so taxing on your physical abilities that you can imagine that. But that was shocking to me.
Yeah,
all those songs.
You got to know he's not happy with that.
Yeah,
whenever that stuff happens.
I came home after the studio and that one note, and of course the fact that now I never ever comparing myself to Bruce Dickinson, but I was miserable because I just couldn't get that one note. you know, but this guy sings and performs at such a high level all the time.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Yeah.
expected, you know,
Yeah.
but still I mean, I just wouldn't.
Well,
let
it
that.
makes me wonder, like and especially in what year was this? The show?
Oh,
Was it like 90s?
yeah, 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I mean, they clearly they work with a huge crew that they travel with, and I imagine they're like, okay, we're gonna put this could be a live DVD or whatever. And like, great, you guys got it, you know. And maybe they don't. Who knows how hands on they are with that kind of stuff?
Oh, I know for a fact they're hands on. They're without a doubt. They'll arrive in a place and Steve goes to the nearest studio and they're mixing stuff all the time.
Well, then that is baffling.
Yeah, but that was the crazy thing to it, because I know that you know, in documentaries that I watched too, watching them arrive at these places, knowing what they have ahead of them,
Yeah.
and still going to the studio and mixing stuff, but also the sound quality of all the stuff. I mean, Nico's drums didn't sound like Nico's drums, and the guitars were thinner than, you know. They were using some guitar synths on Adrian Smith was using some, so it just wasn't what, you know, we're used to. But it was at that it was another moment where I was, you know, feeling bad for a time, and then I was, oh, okay, that's
Happens to all of
Happens
us.
yeah. There's any number of reasons that can happen too, but for a whole show, it kind of makes me wonder. It must have been either a technical thing, or he was just fatigued. You know, maybe.
yeah.
You know?
Well, they
or both.
yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Those things do not work well hand in hand.
Yeah. I just couldn't imagine recording a record that you couldn't go out and reproduce live. Not reproduce, but, you know, just, you know, just
Perform.
tour on that record and give them what you sold them. You
Yeah.
know?
Well, it depends on the performer too. Obviously, Freddie Mercury, a lot of the stuff that they did, not just him, but all the vocals on Queen records,
Yeah.
they couldn't really reproduce all of those
Yeah.
on stage. But Freddie was so brilliant at, I'm just say like he never really sang, like there's that high note. I think I've talked about this on the show before, that high note and pressure or under pressure at the really high. I don't even know what.
Yeah, I thought that was Taylor that did that. He didn't do that.
Is it him? Okay.
Yeah.
Roger Taylor, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, he did that. That falsetto, that high. Yeah, that's Taylor. That's not
Oh, okay.
Mercury. Yeah.
Okay. But you never hear that on stage for whatever it's worth.
No, Freddie will sing I mean, at least in the
just goes,
sets that I've seen, he'll
He does something there.
He'll morph the melodic lines so that it's comfortable, because, I mean, that's a lot of, there's a lot of, a Queen show is a lot of music.
Yeah.
Right.
And
So
it's a lot of challenging music.
stuff like that, but they don't sing the exact same notes on the record, but it's still,
Right.
it doesn't feel like they're cheating you.
No,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
definitely
that's the brilliance
power
of it, I
still
think.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's got a great, I mean, Roger is a fantastic background singer.
Yeah.
And then, he's got Brian to kind of fill in that middle spot, but Roger's the one that's always like, what?
I knew that he did the Galileo stuff and all that.
Oh, yeah.
On
Yeah.
Bohemian. I didn't know about Under Pressure though.
And like when you hear him do like a live version of Somebody to Love, it's a whole fucking choir on the studio version, basically a whole choir of the band, background vocals.
Right. So they have,
Freddie's overdubbed like 16 times. Or
right.
whatever.
Yeah.
So that's why they.
When they do it live, though, you don't really even notice it, because the performance is so like, the performance is rocking, and it's just three of them singing. Maybe John, maybe Deaky sings a little bit on
Yeah, he did. He
some
does.
of that, but it's like, and the way Roger carries it, especially on the end, they do the big "Find me somebody to." I mean, Roger carries that whole thing. While Freddie gets to improv a little bit, but you don't even notice that there's no choir there.
Yeah.
It's remarkable.
That is. I go back to 86 or something, I think it was, and I had the opportunity to go see Queen.
Wow.
And another one of those things that you just let slip through your hands, that moment that you often think about. But I remember a friend of mine coming back. Her name was Mary. Last name will come to me, but I remember her coming back from the show, and they were thrilled with the show, but they couldn't believe that Queen walked off the stage in the middle of Bohemian Rhapsody and let the tape play. And they came back
yeah.
and they were pissed off about it. And I was like, what did you expect them to do? You can't just do the heavy part, and you can't just the middle is this. I don't care if I ever hear that fucking song again. As brilliant as that song is, but I don't care if I've heard. in concert, if they went off stage and let the video play and the so be it.
I kind of think they've done that since the song came out.
What else are you gonna do?
Yeah, because I know that there's
he could scat in the middle of that.
No.
Do a little interpretive dance or
unless you're gonna do it in a medley like they did at Live Aid.
Yeah.
They just went to another song before they even got to that part.
Yeah,
which worked pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like that. That's it. I mean, either you do that or you don't play that song or you don't play that section.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just going to be lame otherwise, unless you have a whole choir on stage.
Yeah,
which would be neat to hear. I haven't actually seen anybody do that. We've got enough people on there to actually replicate every single part.
When I was in grad school, I was playing drums for the Jazz Vocal 1 ensemble, which was the top.
Say that again. Start at the
Jazz Vocal 1.
No, from the beginning.
Grad school.
Start again.
When I was in grad school.
Yes.
What? I played drums for the Jazz Vocal 1 ensemble, which was the 16 voices. Soprano, alto, tenor, bass, piano, bass, drums, guitar, rhythm section. And we did a bunch of, and they would sing like in 5 or 6 part harmony, kind of jazzy kind of stuff. But one of the kids, for his senior recital, he did "Somebody to Love" by Queen, and he wanted us to back him up for it. So we did it, and it was fucking awesome to be able to play like that song and have a full choir. And he would sing the lead part, and the choir would sing the "You just keep losing and losing, it's all right, but it was just like back there playing drums behind it. Mm-hmm. Really, really a fun time.
That'd
be cool. Yeah,
sounds like a project we need to look into.
Maybe.
Yeah,
make it happen. The Blaggards Jazz Choir.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like with any record that has like a symphony orchestra or something on it.
A lot of that stuff. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, that was basically the point. I mean, unless you can afford to bring a whole orchestra on stage, you've got to try to figure out some way to.
I've seen a bunch of those shows where they have brought the orchestra in, and a lot of them fall flat. Mm-hmm. I mean, and again, just because we're born of rock.
Yeah.
We don't, personally anyway, I don't like to hear because a lot of the times they're going to take that great guitar riff or that wonderful vocal melody and they're going to focus on that and make that the focal part of the focal point of the song and kind of destroy all the little idiosyncrasies in that leading up to it that you fell in love with or that made that song for you. Mm-hmm. So one of the ones that really lent itself really well to the orchestra thing, in my opinion, was Deep Purple did a few of them. And I think with Ritchie Blackmore's guitar and John Lord's keyboards and Ian Pace being one of the most underrated drummers in rock, left-handed.
He's the king of the single stroke. I mean, his single stroke rolls are
insane,
off the charts.
Insane. I got goosebumps.
Who can play that? Who can play that fast? Oh, Ian Pace. He can play that fast. Yeah. No one else.
But just the feel, that guy's feel for rock, for music. Anyway, so
was it the full band plus the orchestra?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't Ritchie Blackmore the one I saw.
Yeah, the other guy.
Yeah, but and it wasn't Dixie Dregs guy either.
Steve Morse.
Or was it? I think Steve Morse is overrated, way overrated. Anyway, I'll come back to that. But the way that they wrote these songs and the way that these songs were executed really lent itself well to an orchestra, I believe. It felt natural. Where a lot of the stuff, I know Metallica did one, and that was just garbage.
Kiss did one.
Did they?
Oh yeah, it was awful.
I think Poison need to do one now.
It was terrible.
That's oh my god. Yeah. Well, I take that back. I would love to hear an orchestra instead of Kiss.
So wait, what was Metallica? I didn't know this. Metallica played with an orchestra.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Was it just rearrangements of previously known
I think
songs,
it was their songs, which just someone went ahead and wrote string parts for them.
Yeah.
Oh, when they were singing over it?
Some guy in San Francisco.
And playing over it too?
Full band plus the orchestra.
Okay.
Yeah. It's very, 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 it's very, I was going to say unforgiven. No, they are.
Zing, he still got it.
He still got it. It's extremely boring. And I think with a drummer like Lars, you you can't put that. Yeah.
That could go in 1,000 different directions.
I know.
None of them good.
I know. All dark pathways, my son. It's just a drummer like that does not lend itself well to an unless the orchestra is smoking massive amounts of crack and they're all unrehearsed. You know what I mean? That's the only way that you're going to get it. You're going to get, because to me, it's juggling cats. That's what a drum.
What's that string part going to be? Da 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 da.
You see, that sounds good.
What the fuck?
That
like
sounds
one chord.
Good. But it's those the Lars hits that I just don't. I never understand. The song is just about to groove, and he goes, "Hey, let's go over here." And I go, "No, just rock for a minute."
But the problem with that too is that they all have to sign off on. They all sign off on that. It's not just him being a dickhead, which he is. It's them. It's them all saying, "Yeah, that was a good idea, Lars. Yeah, you should do that more often."
Yeah. And again, with all the bands that we slag, I have to say, you there's all the respect for the, because I saw them back on the Master of Puppets tour in the SFX in Dublin in 1980. I'm going to tell a lie here. 86 or 85. Whatever the Master of Puppets.
Whatever, yeah.
Yeah. And it was only 2 or 3 shows before Cliff Burton died so I saw the last
Cliff,
yeah. So and I have to completely give them every bit of respect for the show that they put on. I'm not a Kirk Hammett fan. I'm not a Lars Ulrich fan. I'm a big Cliff Burton fan, and James Hetfield. I'm a fan of a lot of the riffs and stuff like that. But that show, beginning to end, did not. There wasn't a moment where you could blink. Mm-hmm. You're gonna miss something. You're gonna miss a lot, and that was so. From then on, I was as a fan, and but at the same time, it's really fun to make fun of of that because to me that band would be so incredible with little less fills and skillyboos,
Yeah, a lot of our listeners seem to misinterpret when we're ragging on one particular thing. Sometimes, we generally don't like
Eagles.
the band we're talking about, but at the same time, it's like we get into this in such depth because we care about music in general, or sometimes we actually care about the musicians. We're like, why you could do better? Why aren't you doing better? Sort of thing,
The amount of shows that we've seen, the amount of music that we've listened to, the amount of, ideas that have spawned just from those, David Lee Roth talks about his where his voice comes from, and when he tells you about his upbringing, and he tells you about his childhood, and he said, that's all in my voice. That's all in my songs, and it truly is. It's so even Kiss with a symphony. Oh my god, that's like a donut with a shotgun. What?
I haven't heard it, but I read the review of it, and it basically said exactly what you just said. It just
donut with a shotgun.
Just what?
Donut with a shotgun.
Kinda. Yeah. It takes away from whatever energy those songs may have had, and it just doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw Brian Wilson do the Pet Sounds record with an orchestra, and that made a lot of sense to me. I was like, this obviously all this shit makes sense to me because that's kind of it wasn't like and the full band played with them too. So they had Brian's band was like 8 or 9 people, I think, or something like that, plus this orchestra, and it made sense. That makes sense. Maybe somebody like the Moody Blues has done that before.
Yeah.
I know that seems to make sense for their kind of music.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of stuff that is kind of like energetic or even the metal stuff. I mean, you said Deep Purple. I don't know. It just kind of seems like it'd be watered down.
Yeah. Excuse me. It definitely is. Now, Deep Purple they'll fight you if you call them metal. They still They still turn their nose up at that.
Really?
Yeah, because they were pointed at when it came to the origin. The people that started. To me, it's not even a question. It's just Sabbath. Just start there. Led Zeppelin had nothing to do with it. Deep Purple had nothing to do with it. Everybody stole from that, but as soon as Tony Iommi, Bill Ward, and Geezer Butler said, "This is the sound," that was the sound. That's where. And again, I've been wrong about many other things. Okay, maybe not. I was wrong about that. But
there is an argument that Blue Cheer, sort of in America, sort of started the metal thing, but the problem with that is like it only seems like it was just like a blip on the radar, whereas Sabbath came in and they just like said, "This is where we're going. This is where it's all going now."
Yeah.
And they did it consistently for the next, 10, 15 years or so, before everything else went to shit. So, but it seemed, and to your point, Deep Purple and Led Zeppelin, I always think hard rock,
easily.
classic rock. Maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
But definitely more of a hard rock thing than that first, the tritone riff on the song Black Sabbath just sets the tone for this is it, y'all. This is how we do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's metal right there.
And like 'em or hate 'em, they just never took they never took an album off to try disco or to try fusion, or they just stayed the course, and they did what they felt, and they didn't lie to you. They didn't sell out. They didn't.
Totally different band. But me and Jim Henkel were sitting at the Little Woodrow's up there on Studemont and White Oak one night after we had I guess we had an L Orbits gig or I forget oldies gig. But somehow we end up. I'll give you a ride home. I'm like, let's get a nightcap. So we stopped up there and we're sitting there just talking about music, of course. And he's like, "Okay, you know how Jim is.
Yes.
Okay. One band that never changed anything, no ballads, Marshall amps, and never changed a thing. Who is it?" And I go, AC/DC? AC/DC.
What about the Ramones?
I don't know why we got on that riff, but well,
Right?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah. There's other ones, right? Let's see how many we can think of who
never changed?
who never changed. No ballads.
Well, AC/DC had Ride On, but I don't know if that's really considered a ballad or not, but it's a slow song. But like, here's the formula. Don't change it.
Yeah. Barbra Streisand.
I was who?
Barbra Streisand. Marshall amps. Never
Barbra
changed.
Streisand. Well, maybe not Marshall amps. Okay, so you said the Ramones. The only thing the Ramones did was they dug into the oldies catalog a little bit, but that's not really a crime because they played them like
That's
Ramones
true.
songs.
Yeah,
but
well,
they played them like Ramones songs.
Yeah.
They didn't change them.
Exactly, yeah. Their stuff was kind of grew out of that, so
Yeah.
it kind of made sense.
AC/DC. Kind of, right? They haven't changed.
No.
That was a tough
Venom.
Venom. Well, yeah, of course.
Oh, you asked. They didn't do a ballad.
one. Even Pantera played some ballads.
Yeah. Cemetery Gates is definitely a ballad.
Even Sabbath did some ballads.
Planet Caravan.
That changes.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Are those really the only two bands?
No, I mean it's obviously. I mean, I think I think that most of anyone that's in a hardcore or speed or thrash probably didn't change their
Yeah.
Without getting killed
Yeah. Yeah.
by their bandmates. Mayhem.
Speaking of Brian Wilson, I know that was the one of the biggest points of contention between him and Mike Love
Yeah.
was changing the formula.
God, it's fucking Mike Love, man. That fucking asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Let's write about cars.
And chicks, yeah.
Dude, you're 35
Nothing
years
else.
old. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Let's move. It's the 60s. Shit's happening. It's funny because I had a bunch of the Beach Boys reissues, and they were reissuing them on double CD, so they put two albums out on a CD, and they would go through and talk about each song, mostly with Brian, about each song. And there's one called it's a Mike Love song. It's a ripoff of a blues song. I can't remember which one it is, which I think he had to give credit to. It's called like Student Demonstration Time, which is the stupidest title ever. but it's about, kids, back in the 60s writing about stuff, like either, it was about civil rights or, the war or whatever. And it kind of sounded like the song kind of sounds like it was anti-protesting kind of a thing. And Brian's only comment was, yeah, that song was really hard to listen to.
He's amazing, man. I know that he's gone through so much, particularly mental issues and stuff. But the fact that he's still able to perform.
Yeah, well, he's
I mean,
I think he got sick the last couple of years, so they had to cancel some shit. But
but
he's old.
He had more than one nervous breakdown in his life.
He protested the Beach Boys playing some trophy hunting party in Wyoming or something like that.
Oh, really?
Brian owns the Beach Boys name, but he leases it to Mike
Love and
to do concerts and stuff like that, which is kind of cool, I think. He basically came out and said, this event that the Beach Boys are playing is completely against what we believe in as human beings about trophy hunting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if they did
Good
the
for
show
him.
or not, but he was just like, this is not what the Beach Boys stand for.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It was actually I came late to the Beach Boys. It was in my 20s.
Dude.
When I finally sat down and listened to Pet Sounds and all the Smile sessions and all that stuff. But I got turned on to it actually because of XTC and the Dukes of Stratosphere, the second Dukes of Stratosphere record they put out, Sonic Sunspot, whatever it was. That has that album ends with this really nice Beach Boys tribute called Pale and Precious.
Nice.
And I just fell in love with that song, and it's not really tongue in cheek. It's just a total tribute to them, because there's some of the Dukes of Stratosphere stuff is like poking fun at how bad some of the psychedelic stuff was in the '60s, but still fun, So I went out, and that's when I went out and bought Pet Sounds and started digging into that stuff, and I was just amazed at what's the stuff that's there. It's like not what you would expect if all you know is California Girls and.
But even that early shit is remarkable just because of the harmonies. That
Absolutely.
Even like, Surf City and Surfing USA, I mean, those are kind of like the poppiest of the bubblegum pop stuff. But harmonies on those records are stupid. I mean, it's just ridiculous how good those harmonies are.
Yeah.
I could go on for days about the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
Huge fan.
Yeah. I love them.
Anywho, not metal. Beach Boys, not metal.
Yeah, I think there's we should do a Beach Boys tribute record.
If everybody had an ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get right on it.
Favorite live album, go.
Live album.
Of all time?
Ever. Your favorite. No pressure.
Yeah. Well, there's too many, but it's
How about top three?
top three. Okay.
Can you name three?
Let's Get to Work. Roy Geller.
We should call this the Dead Air Podcast.
You should have. You should have.
2 episodes already of Dead Air.
That's not an easy one.
Hot August Night. Neil Diamond, and
That's a good one.
these are just the ones that push me into. Hey, don't work in the supermarket. Go over here and play rock and roll.
No, that's good.
I don't think, did Kiss do a live album? No.
1, 2. Were they live though? Is the question.
Like that.
ones were
Okay,
live?
then it just has to be Live and Dangerous, Thin Lizzy, just because that's.
Is that the one that has like almost everything is overdubbed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a funny story.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
It's just kind of the way to do it.
Yeah.
Chad, you got any live records you like?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of it's really obvious. It's not making sense. Obviously, the first thing that comes to mind, since that's a movie that was my watershed moment. But that's not. Again, that's one of those albums that I don't really think of it as a live album because it was such a piece unto itself. And again, a lot of the stuff was
Still, you can't take it back.
re-recorded
That's your
and
number
done.
one.
Yeah, take it back.
Oh yeah, obviously. But it's just I've talked about that movie so much on the show already. It's like, well,
Really?
of course.
I must have fun.
I haven't heard those stories. What about?
That's good.
But other than that, there aren't a whole lot of live albums I can think of where I actually like the whole album all the way through. Like I might listen to side A and the second side's boring, that type of thing. Sonic and Sense is really the only one I can listen to all the way through. But again, there isn't one version of that record that I'm entirely happy with, because either they left off a song or they edited, they cut parts of it out, they remixed it in a way I didn't like.
Really?
So yeah. So it's
Fuckers.
I like David Bowie has a really great live album from the 70s called Stages. That's the one that there's a violin on it, which is kind of interesting. It's the only time you hear violin on a lot of his stuff is on that record.
Did David have a lot? Did he have a lot of live records?
Not a lot. Stages. There was 2 that came out from the 70s. One of them came out later. There was a Ziggy. I think, what was it called? It might have just been called Ziggy Stardust. There was an album from the last show he did as Ziggy Stardust.
Okay.
That came out as a live album in the 80s, like 10 years after the fact or something like that. And then there were Stages that came out before that. That also has Adrian Belew playing lead guitar on that record, which is great. Yeah, that's a good question. And then later we had the BBC that came out later. All this BBC live recordings that he did on the radio. And there's some really great stuff on there as well. I don't even know if that qualifies as a live album though, because it's more of a collection of performances.
Was it just radio? Like live on the radio?
Yeah, but they would record it. They play live at BBC Studios and record it. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tricky question.
Not the song remains the same?
Huh? Oh.
The 35-minute version of Dazed and Confused.
Oh God. Is that's the one you were talking about from that story?
Yeah, on the car ride, we were joking about that.
Yeah.
With Alan.
Top 3?
Cheap Trick Live at Budokan.
Oh, of course.
The full version. When we were kids, they released the what do you call it? The first version is just 2 sides.
Yeah.
The actual version is actually 4 sides, because obviously the concert's not 35 minutes long.
Yeah.
It's long. I mean, there's a lot of songs in that. So that was, I mean, like you, I mean, that for me, that was a record when I was a kid. I was like, oh my God, that's, besides hearing Ringo, that's what I want to do. I want to hear girls screaming at me, while I play drums, kind of a thing.
Get out.
Get out.
Oh, yeah.
Take your drums with you.
Yeah.
Actually, John Hyatt has a good live record called Hyatt Comes Alive at Budokan, which is a parody of Frampton Comes Alive and the Cheap Trick record. And I don't know, he's got a super young band, it's just a 4-piece band. And they, John Hyatt's songs are great anyway. He's a great songwriter, I think. And this band is just killer. And it's recorded from a couple of different places.
Yeah.
And it just fucking just rocks, You wouldn't think that for a songwriter. I know he wrote that song Angel Eyes that Jeff Healey did. Oh. Jeff Healey had a big hit with that song, a ballad. But when John does it live, it's like, oh, this song makes a whole lot more sense to me now. It's a pretty song or whatever. And then I got this 2. That's 2, right?
Yeah.
Actually, Heaven and Hell live at Radio City Music Hall is really good.
Really?
Yeah. It's really, 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 really good. It's like their first record, their first like thing back as those 4 guys.
Yeah.
Dio, Iommi, Geezer, and Vinny. And it's great because I'm not sure what Dio's doing with his voice, but man, he's like just like yelling. Oop. Weird. Is that you?
Not me.
It's like the first couple of songs, he's kind of yelling, and then he kind of calms down. I don't know if he's nervous or what the situation was, because it was the first time of them doing something live like that in a long, long time.
Yeah.
And it's at Radio City, which is a kind of a really cool historic kind of venue, and the band's great. You can hear some flubs here and there, so they're just kind of getting their traction and stuff like that. And they went off and did because they had just released that box set that had Black Sabbath, the Dio years box set of records, so they were out promoting that, and they were like, well, we're getting back together, and now we're called Heaven and Hell, so here we go. Kind of a thing.
Yeah, I've definitely got to listen to that, because I'm not.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah,
yeah. The actual concert video. Is on YouTube.
I've seen that. Now that you mention it, I've seen that.
Check it out. It's good.
I definitely will.
Really, really good. Well done.
I like to have it. I like to have the music just going. It's difficult with the video. It's nice when it's just the audio, because I'll get distracted and start watching. I love gear. I just love. I don't go buy it and mess with it. I just love to see what they're using at that time.
Well, Tony's playing an SG, just in case you're wondering.
Really?
An SG. It's got little crosses in the pearl inlays.
Yeah.
Left-handed. But it's an SG, yeah.
Well, it's
a black one.
I got into trouble on that. Speaking of the guitar, I got into trouble on that.
That's the only guitar he plays.
On one of the, I was looking at
That's the only guitar he plays.
No.
It's like Angus Young.
Yeah.
But I think on Mob Rules, I think he plays a yellow one.
What?
Yeah, I know.
So I got into trouble on it was a forum, one of those public forums where they sell guitars, and the guy was saying, I got it was like $3,800 for this. If it's a Fender Telecaster, and not my favorite guitar at all. And if you're not familiar with what a Fender Telecaster is, that Bruce Springsteen plays one all the time, and all the country guys, that's usually the guitar of choice for a. And I just wrote on there, I wasn't replying to one thing. I just think all Telecasters should be free. $3,800 for a Telecaster, and it just wasn't even, the James Burton, the pink paisley, just was a boring
regular old Telecaster.
Yeah. Anyway, I got into trouble for saying I think all Tellies should be free, but
like college.
Just yeah. The live records, I love to hear the little missteps and the wrong notes and the
because it proves that they're human.
Yeah, and it's also it is that. See, I won't listen to I won't buy a comedy CD. I don't care if it's Richard Pryor. I don't care who it is. I just don't want to hear that story over again. You know what I mean? You hear it once, and maybe you don't remember it word for word, but you have to, and of course you're smart enough to not go out and try to regurgitate somebody's masterpiece like that. So you're not gonna. So a CD to me that's redundant. But having those mistakes on a live, it keeps you in that, because Live and Dangerous, yes, there was overdubbed to hell and whatnot, but it feels like a live. I want it to feel like a live performance. I don't want to, or take, if there's a singer that's just way too heavy-handed when it comes to banter, you can't put all of that stuff in there because it doesn't make sense on the record.
Have you heard Kiss Alive?
No.
The first one?
No.
Fucking Paul Stanley does this whole thing about what people should be drinking. Some people like gin and tonics. Ah! Some people like vodka and orange juice. Ah! It's fucking ridiculous. And that's part of the... And Peter Criss is still back there wailing away on the drums, and I remember what I think it's Cold Gin, that song Cold Gin that they have.
Oh, because
they're talking about drinking and stuff like that. Yeah. It's so stupid, but it just goes on.
I just learned to hate them more every day.
Yeah. I think that one is actually mostly live, but Kiss Alive 2, complete, like, okay, let's go in the studio and just overdub every fucking thing.
That sounds to me like they were trying to make some money.
Maybe. And even like they had like other guitar players play on it. Like Bob Kulick, who just passed away.
Yeah.
He says,
his brother passed away.
Bruce passed away?
Oh, no, Bruce, you're right. Bob, sorry.
So Bruce was in Kiss
yes.
for a while. And then Bob actually played on Kiss Alive 2.
Whoa.
I
didn't know there was
they had me came in the studio and do guitar overdubs or some of the live shit that Ace either didn't sound good on or whatever. I don't even know what the situation was, but
wow.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Wow.
Kiss Not Alive 2.
The way Tony Visconti tells the story with the Thin Lizzy live record is that pretty much the only thing on the record that's not re-recorded is the drums.
Yeah, man.
Like everything.
Brian, he knows which side of the bread his butter's on.
I gotta find that. It's I can't remember if it was an article or an interview where he talks about the story as he tells the story is just really funny. I can't remember who came in first, but somebody just wanted to retrack a guitar solo or something, and they just kept going and replacing everything. And then like Scott Gorham comes in and he goes, "Oh, hey, I want to re-record my stuff too." And just one thing led to another.
There's a lot of Frank Zappa stuff is like that.
Is it? Oh yeah. It was a Shaky Woody. That was alive. A lot of, and I don't know if all of it, but most of it was live, and then built on.
Definitely those first 4 or 5 tracks. You can tell
Yeah.
from the performance that they're live.
Yeah.
I mean, but they sound great.
The audience isn't there. But it's
You can't really hear the
it's just
audience.
cool.
But the way the band sounds, you can tell that it's like not in a studio.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh yeah, so this song, I pulled the guitar solo off of this song, which is in a completely different time, but it's the same key, and I put it on this track." I'm just like, "You're a fucking madman. You're just crazy." That you.
Well, luckily he plays that 3-chord stuff that you can just drop it in
3-chord 4/4 time stuff is super easy just to put stuff.
I was lucky enough to see Dweezil Zappa play acoustic with a young lady named Lisa Loeb. That was where the luck ran out. No, she was all right. But one of the nightclubs I worked at, they did this acoustic performance, and I got to see him play. Oh my God!
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. Apple did not fall far from the tree. He's a great guitar player.
And understated and just no ego and just don't like that guy at all.
That family's all fucked up because of their fighting over family rights to
publishing
Frank's catalog and shit like that. Like Ahmet and Dweezil. I think it's like Dweezil against everybody else. And so far, it sounds like Dweezil's the one that's like taking the high ground and like being the most like, mature about it. But Ahmet and Moon or Moon Unit, I guess, are like, I don't know. I think they're mad at him because he was touring and doing his dad's songs or some such shit, and they wanted a cut of it. Like, it's not how this works. But I don't know. Family.
Just have them call me. Just I'll take care of that. Yeah. I mean, I've done it 100 times.
That's kind of weird. I couldn't imagine. I can't think of any other son or children of a famous musician who've done that. Right? I mean,
if Kiss have offspring, they will. That will happen.
I mean, Julian Lennon's not going around just playing his dad's catalog, for example, or Donnie Harrison playing his dad's. He's done a little bit of it, but not leaning on it heavily.
Well, they have a right to do it.
Sure.
But I don't think Sean is fighting with Julian about if Julian does one of his In My Life or something like that in concert. I think Sean's going to sue him for it.
No.
These Zappa kids are actually like fighting in court over this shit.
Yeah, that's
about their dad's catalog.
Doubly weird.
It's all messed up.
Yeah, I think it's just if you're, I mean, I can't imagine that stuff being public, being, of course people are going to find out about it, but it's just boring. It's not boring. I mean, there's so many people fighting over, I know this Mary Trump book is coming out, and there's the war that's going on, not just in the media, but obviously behind the scenes, what's happening. It's just insane what money does to these people. And none of it seems to be for the preservation of the estate or the legacy of the work. It's just monetary, and that drives me fucking crazy.
I mean, to Dweezil's point, I mean, he does a show. I mean, I think it's called Zappa Plays Zappa.
Yeah,
he's got a killer band.
I've seen clips of it.
And they're just playing the music just to kind of keep it alive.
Yeah.
What the fuck is Ahmet doing? Shaving his head. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. He's just complaining about it because he's not getting paid. Go out. You can do the same thing. Go out you're a great guitar player too. Go out and fucking tour and do the same shit.
Yeah. And didn't the two of them had a band, didn't they?
They were like on some TV show.
That rings a bell.
I thought they had a band together.
Remember that? They were like either Ahmet was the host or Ahmet and Dweezil had a band. God damn it. Sorry, folks. Sent me to whack the microphone. Boosh. They had a band that was like a late night show on Fox TV or something like that, and they were the house band, and it was for some show about something or other. It wasn't that Adam Carolla show, was it?
I don't know.
Girls jumping on trampolines at the end. The man show.
That wasn't Adam Carolla. That was Jimmy Kimmel. Adam Carolla was the fucking furniture.
Oh
yeah. Sorry.
Easy.
I've never heard him say anything funny.
He's not funny.
I know. That's why I never heard him say anything funny.
Anyway.
I think Jimmy Kimmel's got wit.
Okay, so my homework assignment for this week, after you get back from traveling, after I get back from traveling, my homework assignment is to find out what show that they were on.
I think you could find out today.
I'm not gonna. I got a pool to get into. Pretty quick. So,
is there anyone who is the offspring of a successful musician whose output is amazing, just on its own, that you can think of? Anybody?
That's a good question. Where was that question earlier? Thanks, Bob. Jesus.
Bob Jesus.
Bob Jesus.
I thought it was Bob Christ.
Roberto Jesus.
I'm
Bob
trying
Christ.
to think.
Any kid that's been famous?
I mean, there's plenty. I mean, obviously, there's some people I could mention I'm not particularly a fan of.
Like
Jacob Dylan. You know, he's had a career, but I don't listen to his stuff. I have any interest in that.
Luckily for you, because you look weird doing a podcast outside.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I already mentioned Julian Lennon. I love him, but, you know, I don't really listen to his stuff. Even Sean.
So what was the question? Offspring that's been
successful
or been great?
Their child or children have done something that's really good on its own, not just because they were the offspring of said.
But wasn't like the Jacob Dylan stuff? Wasn't he borrowing his dad's lyrics or something like that? Or
I don't know.
Just make that up.
I have no idea.
I don't care. I don't care either way. Alcohol can burn in hell.
Yeah. Ringo. I mean, Zach's had a pretty good career.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Not necessarily well known.
Sure.
But he has played drums for The Who for a number of years, and he's got some weird techno band with some chick that apparently is good, but I don't think it is just because people say it is.
He played with Oasis for a while too. Zach did.
He had the right haircut for it.
Yeah.
Oof, here comes lunch.
What about there's gotta be somebody.
There it is.
Carney and Wendy Wilson.
Never heard of them.
Oh.
Wilson Phillips.
It's not the. Oh, I thought it was the Whataburger twins.
No, just one of them. And the other girl was Michelle Phillips' kid.
Right.
From the Mamas and Papas.
That's Mamas and Papa. Now you're talking. A song I can listen to till the end of time. California Dreamin' forever.
All the leaves are brown.
And
all the leaves are brown.
I love that
all
fucking
the leaves
song.
are brown.
I still like it.
Okay, next time you sing that, next time you hear that song, just replace every lyric with "all the leaves are brown." It fucking works. The entire song. Trust me on this.
Well, then where are you dreaming?
California Dreaming, the song.
I know.
Great song, awesome song. Hal Blaine on drums. Thank you very much.
I knew that.
Fantastic song.
See, if you weren't browning all the fucking leaves, I could have.
Him and John Phillips got into it one time in the studio.
I can see why.
Yeah, because John said it's like this, and Hal's like, okay, and Hal did it like that, and John's like, no, it doesn't go that way. He's like, you just told me it goes that way, and then finally he's like, fuck you, John, and threw his sticks down and walked out and stuff like that.
Is there a bootleg recording of this or something?
I don't think so. I don't think it was recorded. It might be somewhere out.
Did you get this information firsthand?
From Hal Blaine?
That's what I'm saying.
Book, Hal Blaine's book.
Oh,
okay.
Which is an excellent read, by the way. Hal
Yeah.
Blaine and the Wrecking Crew. I think you can buy it on Amazon. Fantastic read about his life and being in the studio and stuff like that.
We don't mention Hal Blaine or Glenn Campbell enough. Just
We
FYI.
should get down on our knees every day and say, thank you, Glenn and Hal, because of the amount of output those two have had,
my God.
and their link to American music history
Yeah.
is remarkable.
Yeah, and I think Glenn Campbell, just his guitar work alone, just his guitar work alone.
Yes,
What an absolute beast! I love you, Glenn.
Yeah.
We've talked about him before, but he was remarkable for a lot of reasons, but one of which being a session guy who couldn't read sheet music and managed to do as well as he did.
Yeah.
Make a career out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, famous Offspring,
Yes, famous Offspring.
not the band Offspring.
I'm struggling to think of. I can't think of anybody. It's funny that like one guy who might have, who's I think is brilliant. It was Duncan Jones, David Bowie's son, just became a filmmaker, and he just circumvented that whole issue altogether by going into completely different field. But he's great at it.
Yeah, that's. I think we should come back to that because I think we're overlooking the fact that Britney Spears hasn't had enough kids yet. But we should definitely come back to that question.
Billy Ray
because-
Cyrus. Miley Cyrus. Come on. Come on.
that?
Come on.
What's that?
Come on.
What are you talking about?
Boot Scoot Boogie. No, what's that song he had?
Yeah. Oh no. Achy Breaky Heart.
Achy Breaky Heart. And then he spawned Hannah Montana / Miley Cyrus. And what a treat she's been. What a joy she's been.
All these words mean so much.
All you're saying is words.
Yes.
No, she's fine. She's fine. She's fine. She's done good.
That's gonna be the title of Eric's memoir. It's fine.
It's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Well, we were going to talk about musicals. Wasn't that Bob's question?
Bob's
that's a
question.
question?
Robert Earl Mills from up north was asking. He had just seen the musical Hamilton, which was a big to do if you know anything about anything in America. It is a musical. It was it's fine. It's fine. It's not what it's cracked up to be. Anyway, so he was asking if we had any favorite musicals that we enjoy and to share with the public. Any or even ones that we'd recommend that maybe people haven't seen yet. He says he's only seen Rent and I gotta look it up now. Sorry, I thought it was weird that he saw Rent, but whatever.
Well, while you're looking it up,
because I want to be clear that we don't say the same thing.
yes,
He's seen Rent and Spamalot.
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 I haven't seen that.
And
I
now,
haven't seen
and
that. I
now,
would see
and
that.
now Hamilton. So now I've played a bunch of musicals in my lifetime. I've actually been in the pit for
Really?
about 30 of them, I think, probably.
Wow.
Now.
Oh.
All different kinds of musicals. So they're fun to play. I mean, definitely keeps you, like we talked earlier, they definitely keep you on your toes. But I think the thing that I think a lot of people miss is like if you, I kind of liken it to like an orchestra. Like, what do you play? I play orchestra. What else do you play? I play orchestra. I think a lot of musical people, not necessarily the drummers or the guitar players, the bass players, but I think a lot of the horns and keyboard players, whatever else, other instruments. What do you play? We play musicals. Like downtown here, you have to be in the union to play at the theater. But what do you play? I play musicals. I get called to read music. But if we did a musical, we'd bring another thing to it because we play gigs. We play other types of music. We play other venues, and so we're used to jumping and landing on our feet and rolling with the changes and stuff like that. Where everyone else is like focused on the book or whatever kind of a thing. So
I think a musical would be extremely taxing and great training. I think it would be just marvelous work ethic, to execute that night in and night out.
yeah.
I think it's a guy. I saw Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat as a kid, and wasn't thrilled with the stage, the acting. However, the music was top notch.
Yeah.
Top notch. So I like that. Now, of course, and then I saw, in movies, Music Man, Sound Music.
Great. Classics.
Yeah, and loved every second of it. Just the music was, as a kid listening to that, chitty chitty bang bang, music again, wonderful.
That's been a while since I've seen that one.
Yeah, but the Broadway. We talked a little about Broadway. That to me that's a truly exciting avenue to take as a musician. I'd love to work in that.
Definitely be
field.
interesting.
You just like working just nonstop and making that to me is exciting. The fact that you 2 shows or 2 shows a day, whatever it is, and for X amount of days, and that would be and with enough room to put your own little, you don't want that monkey throwing in all those, taking too much time to do their own thing. But it would be nice to have a little wiggle room in the thing for a little spontaneity.
Yeah.
Because working with, we talked about playing a live show, unless you're Tom Petty and you're regurgitating the same banter from the night before and it's the same set list. And that's different. You're you're playing that show and you're taking that show and lifting it up and dropping it in the next one and dropping it, you know. I like we're here tonight.
Sure.
You're the only one's going to see this.
Right.
And then tomorrow night, we're going to do something a little different and maybe leave out a song or add a song.
Yeah, different set list.
Yeah. And even different. But that's what I would like to take to a, and again, that probably wouldn't work. Obviously, I've not been a stage performer in that sense. Mm-hmm. So that wouldn't work. But again, I love the spontaneity of if something's happening that night or there's a topic that can be, you know.
I bet you if we were to interview some actors and singers who've been in productions like that, they'd tell you that what makes one night different from another.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure that they talk about this. Yeah, that was a really good night. This was just on their performance. And I'm sure sometimes it's about the audience reaction and all that stuff as well. You know, a lot of the same stuff that we experience. And
a lot of the same time, you know, the way the band is playing in the pit, like they're not energized and ready to go to work. Just like, let's go through the motions, and it's not gonna be like a boring show as well.
You see, I hadn't thought of that. How, as an actor, and the music is not standing up the way it should, how are you supposed to do your job?
Right.
That's
and the other thing that changes night to night is accidents. It's live. It's a live show. Things happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody drops. I watched a show where it was actually an opera, and the stage was weird because like the stage was built up and it was kind of angled to make it look like it was bigger. And you know, one of the people on stage had a hat box, and she dropped it by accident, and it rolled right into the pit. And you know, all of a sudden, like the music changed because, like, you know, someone got hit with the hat box and they had to stop. And I mean, they kept going, but like that side of the pit got quiet, you know, kind of a thing. So, and I played before where the music director looks down. He's like, I said this earlier. He's like, last 4 bars, do it again because someone missed their mark or they're waiting for them to get to where they need to get to, kind of a thing. Last 4 bars, do it again. And you just kind of put a little repeat sign and just wait for it to happen.
That's what I like.
Know, that kind of shit happens all the time.
Yeah, that's what made to order, made for mayhem, made for the moment.
But at the same time, you want the show to go kind of the same way every night, so that way it's smooth and the actors know what's going on.
But the punters don't get to know that there was a mistake
they never
there.
know. They
if
never
you're
know that.
that's invigorating to me. That's the stuff that makes
that's
it.
the challenging part.
Yeah.
I've got a good story.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
This was a really obvious mistake that I was involved in when I wasn't even in the show.
Caused.
Huh?
Caused.
I was going to say.
Caused, yeah.
Does this involve your mother?
No. This is going way back to 1989 or something like that. My friend Dwight and I, we graduated from HSPVA, 87. We came back while a lot of people, our friends, were still there at school, like a couple years later, to see, in 89 must have been, to see a production of Little Shop of Horrors.
Good show.
In the Black Box Theater.
Played it.
At PVA. And so and we knew a lot of people in the production. We knew a lot of people in the band. My friend Patrick White was playing guitar in the band. And I'm gesturing like this because we were sitting, they had these, what do they call them, bleachers or whatever, but the seats, the tiered seats on either side of the theater. And they had these stackable seats there that had these little hooks on the end of them to kind of link them together.
Come together, yeah.
And they had this sort of, the bleachers weren't really constructed that well. They had one little kind of half-ass handrail here, but it really wasn't going to prevent anybody from falling off, which gives you a little preview of what's
see where this is going.
Yeah.
A little foreshadowing.
My seat, I realized later, was not hooked on to Dwight's sitting next to me. I'm at the end of the row. I mean, my seat is not hooked on to his, right? So, and I don't remember what was going on. I just remember I was laughing at something that was supposed to be laughed at, and it was a funny moment in the show. Next thing I know, my seat's falling off the edge of the bleacher into the band. The band is right here.
Oh, shit.
And I don't know what I did. I'm pretty sure I must have screamed, shit, as I was falling, and crashed into the drum kit, and that's all I remember.
Of course.
Like it kind of pushed the guy's hi-hat into the snare and into, and Patrick told me later that his music stand went right into his crotch.
Nice.
And so I clamber back up, and there's no way to untangle my seat from all the mess that it fell into. And And I remember as I got up, the people on stage were just standing there going, like staring,
What the fuck?
staring in abject horror at what had just happened. And they slowly go, and they get back into it, and they recovered and went on, which was a testament to them. So then, fortunately, it was only a few minutes until the end of that. I think the intermission was coming up, fortunately, for everybody involved. But it was, once I got up and I kind of didn't know what to do. Like, I can't get my seat. So I just sat cross-legged where my chair had been. And slowly, as the show, the actors resumed their lines and got back into the scene, you could hear these titters erupting around the people in the audience around us once they had a chance to catch their breath. All this stuff going on. And so then after the intermission started, we managed to get my seat out, and I made sure it was locked where it was supposed to be.
Jesus.
And when I went out, our friend Betsy, who had been a backup singer in the band Elemental Penguin a couple of years before, she was working the ticket booth outside, or doing whatever that's called.
Box office.
Yeah. Well, there's some other word I'm thinking of. It didn't matter. I come out. And she goes, "Hey, how's it going?" I said, "Did you hear about what happened in there?" She goes, "Oh yeah, did it happen anywhere near you?" I said, "That was me." She's like, "Oh my God."
Aren't you glad it wasn't a roller coaster?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Little shop of horrors, little shop. Yeah.
We need to get you a little microphone.
Played that show twice.
Yeah.
It's good.
Other than that, one of my favorite musical I ever saw was actually a local production from Jason Nodler's production company. They're now called Catastrophic Theater. Back in this point, they were called Infernal Bridegroom. They did this is back when their production house was where the Axiom used to be, local. This is before your time. So this is back in the. Do you remember that the Axiom?
I remember the Axiom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know what I saw there.
Yeah. Well, it used to be a punk rock club. And my band, The Change, played there many times. But then later, Jason Nodler came back and turned it into a theater. But they've done a lot of musicals, and they did a production of the Kinks' soap opera, which is one of several sort of concept albums that the Kinks did in the 70s. And that was really great.
No, that was a musical.
Yeah, well, I think it was an album, and I think that it was adapted into a whole
thing.
Whole production, yeah. And the late great Kerry Winscott was in the lead. He was fantastic. That was something else.
Nice.
So musicals, yes, that's definitely as a child I would have thought no, but then realized yes, it's really really entertaining, and when they're done well, there's just hard to beat.
It's definitely an interesting medium.
Yeah,
and there's definitely a golden age of, at least in American movies, taking musicals from the stage and doing production of them from maybe the 50s into the early 60s or so. I think Mary Poppins might have been the last.
love that movie.
We just watched it last night, actually.
Did you really?
Yeah, it's fucking great. Awesome. I kind of don't recall if I've actually ever seen the whole thing from start to finish.
Yeah.
I've seen the whole movie, but just not in one sitting, and I watched it last night. It's fucking great. It's so good.
Yeah.
But, and that was about the time, I think Sound of Music was the year after that. I think Mary Poppins was 64, Sound of Music was 65. And that was Sound of Music was maybe one of the last great musicals that kind of came out of Hollywood until, they every now and then they'll put one out just for giggles, whatever. But
really, one of the for such an upbeat musical, Sound of Music, having some pretty intense subject matter.
Yeah,
too, which is still remarkable in that regard.
Yeah.
Nazis, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I was talking about the convent. Nazis. Oh yeah, that too.
Well, I mean, it's 6 of 1.
Yeah. Yes.
Liesel.
It's been a while since I've seen those movies. I love all the ones you mentioned. Singing
Walk Out
in the Rain is another
because
one.
because that was fucking Mary Poppins was 2 hours and change, and Sound of Music is 3 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. Fiddler on the Roof, 3.5 hours.
Oh, Fiddler, that's a great one.
That's a good one.
Yeah. My God.
That one's got some heavy subject matter in it too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, the first half, the first act is kind of it's kind of funny and it's kind of upbeat, and then they have the wedding at the end of the first act, and then the government shows up and destroys the wedding. Second act, downer. Whole total downer. The whole second act is just sad. The whole thing is sad. I played that at a summer stock theater, and I learned that from the time the intermission started until the drums came back in the second act, I had like 30 minutes to kill. So I'd go to the bar next door. Drink,
That doesn't sound like you.
Here we go. Run back in time, play tambourine. Kink, 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 kink. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. So what are the chances we get Bob to move down here and just take that?
Really?
That
We need a fourth seat. He
Yeah.
says he wants to tour manage us when we go up north.
Okay.
Yeah.
Deal.
Okay. He's already given us a couple places to play. They're theaters, but I mean, we
That's all right.
might be able to pull it off.
We played worse.
And he mentioned
We could do our musical.
There's some blues festival in New Hampshire that has a lot of blues,
Yeah.
but I bet you we could probably get on that.
Just
thing.
like
That's
Jazz
kind of
Fest.
the weird
Yeah.
wild card kind
Yeah.
of thing, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Not for
excited.
this year, but I'll get you the name. We can maybe reach out to them for next year.
Yeah.
They're doing it.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. Like we talked about at the beginning. The album is really coming along, and for as little time as we get, we're getting a lot of stuff done, and we're having a ball in there. It's just it's become a second home, and the everything's just really taking shape now. So that's been a thrill, and I'm just, of course, now we're looking onward and forward into the future, and just must tour, must get in the van. So we got some exciting stuff coming, and it feels monotonous saying that over and over every bloody SlapperCast. However, there is going to be a finish line. We are going to cross it, and it's going to be fun. We got just I just can't wait. I'm worried, and I dream about it nightly. I'm worried about my stamina is good, but I don't know about singing and playing for that. I gotta start doing that again.
Should make it like see what I used to do is I used to pick an album,
Yeah.
and just play along with it. And
Oh,
then,
yeah.
45, 50 minutes later,
Yeah.
you're done.
Yeah.
To when I had downtime. So,
John Nania has sent me a bunch of cassette tapes, and I hooked up my as you'll notice my CD player and thing is gone. So I've got my little studio set up over here, and I've got the cassette tape. So I have been playing along with. I've been playing guitar every day, and so I'm playing along with a lot of those cassettes, a lot of these old. And just right on time too. I was looking for these old Motorhead records that I'd lost, and they show up on cassette. So thank you, John.
Cool.
John is. You've heard us mention John Nania on this program many times, and hopefully everybody that we've ever met will get to meet John, because he is. And I hope he's not watching this episode, because I don't want to be heard saying anything nice about him. But he is easily one of the funniest, smartest, most down to earth, knowledgeable, just huge personality, and not just a dear friend, but just all round gentleman.
Extremely talented musician too.
Yeah, just So I hope everybody gets to meet him, because he is definitely one of our favorite, and sent me so many really cool recordings. And he used to DJ when he was back in college, and so he has the musical scope infinite, doesn't start to cover it. He's just fathomless music knowledge and tastes and blah blah blah. Anyway, so that's been, so the guitar playing, but the running around, jumping, high kicks, backflips, I'm gonna have to get back into the.
make that part of your jogging routine.
Yeah, add to it. But just we're lucky that we're all living as close to each other as we're doing, and we're like I've been mentioning, I'm really enjoying this mask bullshit. So we keep running around in various disguises, but this shit, it's going to come to an end. It has to. you know, we all just got to do a little bit, you know, do a little bit. Don't even do it for yourself. Do it for your friends, your family, your neighbors. And we got to push through this, and we got to get that. I want to get out. I want to get back in the van.
Yeah.
So
It'd be nice.
yeah. But yeah, I think we should carry on with our freedom. And thank you.
In our rights.
Thank you, Bob, for the questions. And you know, we really appreciate you all listening. And I want to say that this is gonna pass, and we're gonna have a big party. And just remember that we haven't forgotten Paddy's Day. We're gonna do Paddy's Day as soon as this is over. So you know,
Exactly.
everywhere we go.
Every day.
Okay. Thanks, y'all. We'll see you next week for number
y'all.
75.
Yeah.